Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and we have three major topics to talk about today. First of all, we're going to talk about how one sports analyst said that the Washington Commanders should start Marcus Mariota over Jayden Daniels for week 1 until Jayden Daniels is supposedly ready. We're going to dive into his exact quote, what his reasoning was behind that, and we got to, of course, give our opinions on that whole situation and why I just disagree wholeheartedly. And then also we have Austin Ekeler comparing Jayden Daniels to Justin Herbert and Phillip Rivers, and if anybody would know, it would be Austin Ekeler. We're going to dive into that exact quote and why he said those things. And then also we're going to end it with Terry McLaurin still being very underrated, even at this point still underrated. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Man, I'm just happy that I'm looking out the window right now. I'm seeing clouds for the first time in like 3 weeks. We've been like 96-degree weather for so long now, so it's nice. But either way, man, we got to get to this content. I'm not going to waste more of y'all time. Just make sure you stiff arm that like button. Do not leave this video without leaving a like, and of course, get in the comment section. Let me know about everything we discussed in this video, and make sure you stay tuned for more content. Let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so an NFL writer from Last Word on Sports says that the Commanders should start Marcus Mariota over Jayden Daniels. The quote is, starting Daniels week 1 may be the move Washington fans are looking for, but it wouldn't be the right one. Week 1, the franchise should start Marcus Mariota because of his veteran experience, unquote. And then in addition, he adds, Daniels will be the future starting quarterback, but the team shouldn't rush to put him on the field, unquote. And my boy Mark Phillips at Going Commander on Twitter brings up a great point when he tweeted, I get that Daniels won't be the player he's going to become in game 1, but he will likely get there quicker by playing. If he can't beat out Marcus Mariota, then the Commanders aren't going to have much of a season either way. If it's a mistake, then it's a mistake I will still make. I completely agree with that tweet wholeheartedly. First of all, the first part that, I mean, yeah, granted, Jayden Daniels will not be what he's potentially going to become as soon as game 1. He's not going to be perfect. He may not even necessarily be great, but I think he'll be good enough to go out there week 1 and compete and give us a chance to beat the playoff going Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last year in Tampa Bay. I think he gives us a solid chance. He doesn't give us like a great chance. He's not an elite quarterback yet. We got to see it to believe it type of thing. It's week 1, of course. We don't know what he's going to look like going from college football to the NFL just yet. We'll have some hints and clues through training camp, through the preseason joint practices and things like that, but we won't truly know until he gets out there in an actual regular season game. And again, I don't expect him to be at his best by week 1 of year 1 of his career, but I'm expecting him to be good enough. And then the second part, I completely agree with Mark Phillips. If Jayden Daniels isn't at least better than Marcus Mariota by week 1, then we probably shouldn't have picked him anyway, because it's not even necessarily a big compliment to Jayden Daniels is what I'm saying this. I'm more so saying this that like Marcus Mariota is not that good. I mean, we saw what he was doing with the Falcons and that whole drama that went down a couple of years ago there. He just hasn't been very good. I think he was Jalen Hurts' backup last year or something like that, and nobody wanted to see him come into the game. There were times, at least when Gardner Minshew was the backup a couple of years ago to Jalen Hurts, there were arguments, well, you know, maybe Jalen Hurts is the more athletic, the guy that's better with his legs, the better off-schedule guy, but Gardner Minshew gives you a better chance to win on schedule as far as completing passes, keeping the offense on schedule, going through his progressions and things like that. But when Marcus Mariota was the backup, I don't think I heard a single person say at any point, except for it was somebody random. It was one of the Carrs, not Derek Carr, but the David Carr, I believe. One of them said something like Marcus Mariota would probably give the Eagles a better chance to win right now than Jalen Hurts. Outside of him, I didn't hear anybody else say it. And that just goes to show that if you would prefer Gardner Minshew over Marcus Mariota, there's no reason that we drafted Jayden Daniels second overall and he's not ready to go out there and start before him. But I'm going to give more of my opinions on this afterwards. And I also agree with Marcus Phillips when he said, if it's a mistake, then it's a mistake that I will still make. And you got to die on some hill. There's just got to be a hill where you just plant your flag, right or wrong. And I prefer to be wrong about this than to be wrong the other way around. I completely agree. But also, let's talk about Jayden Daniels and Marcus Mariota as far as like their connection right now, because are there any like hints and clues as to like them having any type of turmoil or conflict? I don't think so. So far from what I'm seeing and hearing, Jayden Daniels and Marcus Mariota have a great relationship right now. Marcus Mariota is going out of his way to help Jayden Daniels. Even cooler, because I don't know if y'all have seen this picture, but look at this picture of Jayden Daniels wearing a Marcus Mariota jersey when he was way younger. And that's really cool. Like, Jayden Daniels rocks with Marcus Mariota. Like, I mean, you can tell that at least Jayden Daniels grew up liking Marcus Mariota and really like looking up to him, and basically probably even modeling his game off of what Marcus Mariota did, especially at the college level and maybe somewhat early in his NFL career. So now you got to wonder, is that reciprocated? Is Marcus Mariota showing Jayden Daniels love as well? Well, from what we're hearing, Jayden Daniels' longtime personal coach went on the John Kahn podcast a couple of weeks ago and literally said, quote, "I do know that Mariota's been great with him, and we knew that was gonna happen. Mariota has done wonders with Jayden, helping him catch up to speed and stuff like that," unquote. So there you go. I mean, granted, that wasn't said directly from Mariota to Jayden Daniels, but one of Jayden Daniels' closest people to him, his personal quarterbacks coach, said that Marcus Mariota has been absolutely wonderful in doing everything that he can to help Jayden Daniels become a better quarterback as soon as possible, giving him every gem that he can, every piece of advice, all of those type of things. Again, it's not directly coming from Jayden Daniels, but it's coming from somebody very close to Jayden Daniels. So I'm assuming Jayden Daniels has said these things to this person, this coach that he's very close to. So I'm really excited. I think Marcus Mariota being here is a good thing. Shouts out to KBDC Sports on Twitter, because he brings up a great point, and I agree. I was concerned with the Mariota signing because how things ended with the Falcons with him, but Mariota seemed to be well liked by his teammates so far here. Great to see. Few others of his teammates are also in Oregon to support his camp today too. And yeah, so far from what I'm hearing right now, I haven't heard anything bad about Marcus Mariota, except for like throwing interceptions. But as far as his relationship to Jayden Daniels, he's done everything that we could hope for and more, as far as giving him every bit of advice and help that he could give him. I love it. But also, that last part of the sentence, just in case if you're confused, Jayden Daniels went to the University of Oregon today, and he was checking out Marcus Mariota's Heisman Trophy. I'm gonna give y'all that clip as well. But that last sentence was that, you know, you can see that people love Marcus Mariota, and so far from what we're seeing from Commanders players and coaches, but also you see some people at that Oregon thing and his former teammates from different stops he's had in the NFL, all at the University of Oregon, basically showing Marcus Mariota love as well. So he seems to be a really light guy. Maybe it hasn't necessarily worked out for him on the field, and maybe the Falcons drama towards the end of the season was more of like an anomaly or something like that. Maybe we can blame the Falcons more so for that than Marcus Mariota, who knows. But it seems like this is a guy that people really like to be around and rally around, and this seems like a really good mentor for Jayden Daniels. But like I said, Jayden Daniels was at the University of Oregon, and he was checking out Marcus Mariota's Heisman Trophy, and basically he suggested that LSU should commemorate his trophy very similarly. Here's the clip right here if you want to see it.
Like I'm back in high school again.
Hey, boy, I'm trying to tell you, I'm about to get all
I'm on my official visit right now. On the official. Oh my God! It's Marcus Mariota Heisman Trophy. Dang! Oh my God! Boy, LSU ain't got nothing like this for me. Damn! I'm jealous. Sheesh.
And I think that's really cool. And if you really think about it, they not only have winning a Heisman in common, which is very rare territory just out of life, just humans just living life. But they also were both drafted number 2 overall. So I like Marcus Mariota being as close to being in Jayden Daniels' shoes as possible, and he could tell them what to do and also, of course, what not to do as far as being a Heisman Trophy 2nd overall pick going into the NFL as a rookie quarterback. Like, I mean, if anybody has literally walked in those shoes as Marcus Mariota, Jayden Daniels is walking in those exact shoes right now. I think that's a great mentor for him. I wasn't necessarily very high on the signing when we first did it, but now that Jayden Daniels is here and we're hearing how great Marcus Mariota has been for him and things like that, I'm starting to see it. But at the same time, all of that is great, but he should not be starting over Jayden Daniels week 1. You do not draft somebody 2nd overall to sit them unless they just look way worse than what you expected coming out of college. But so far, not only has he met expectations in certain areas, but even other areas he's exceeded expectations for what we thought when we drafted him. So I just don't see any reason to particularly sit him. I mean, it's no guarantee that he's ready to go out there week 1 and ball out. But again, like Mark Phillip said earlier, he's going to become better quicker by playing rather than sitting on the sideline. And then we also got to talk about the fact that you also don't sit a 2nd overall pick, especially when that 2nd overall pick already looks better than the veterans, including Marcus Mariota. And we're not even talking about just talent, like he's faster, more athletic, and things like that. We're also talking about nuanced things, like going through his progressions, making the right decisions, accuracy, all of those type of things. I like Marcus Mariota being here and all, but we do not need to see you on that field, man. We do not. We didn't sign the most veterans in the NFL this offseason to go out there with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. These players know that Marcus Mariota isn't that good. They know just as well as us fans know. The players know that as well. All of the hope is in Jayden Daniels right now. And even just think about it from the player standpoint, like Terry McLaurin, for example. Just imagine how livid he would be if we went out there with any quarterback other than Jayden Daniels right now. If you've heard and seen how Terry McLaurin has been talking about Jayden Daniels so far this offseason, you would know that if we walked out there week 1 with any other quarterback other than Jayden Daniels, he would be very upset with all of the struggles he's gone through with the different quarterbacks he's had to play with and things like that. And his short career of being here, I mean, this guy is sick of it. And it seems like Jayden Daniels is finally the guy that he's been looking for. He's been talking about him. I mean, because he's done a great job he's just a great guy. He's done a great job of hyping up every quarterback that has come in here to basically look at it from the bright side, be glass half full and things like that for every quarterback that's come through here since he's been here. But he talks about Jayden Daniels differently than everybody else, even Sam Howell. Jayden Daniels is like just on a whole different level in Terry McLaurin's eyes. Just go look up the clips and the quotes and things like that he said about him. Terry McLaurin loves some Jayden Daniels. Imagine we go out there week 1 without Jayden Daniels. How Terry McLaurin, just him specifically, we can talk about a lot of different other players, but Terry McLaurin specifically, with what he's been through quarterbacks, he's just ready to go ahead and get going with a franchise quarterback right now. So don't do this. Don't do this, Commanders. We already know Marcus Mariota will not be the starter. It's just not going to happen. I mean, Jayden Daniels took all of the starting snaps in mandatory minicamp. We've pretty much already moved on from that process. This really isn't even like a debate or a real topic anymore. Dan Quinn has just not gone out of his way to name Jayden Daniels a starter yet, but he's pretty much already the starter the way that they at least practice right now. And then also, before we move on, I want to know if Marcus Mariota were to be named the week 1 starter. Let me know what your reaction would be. Let me know right now in the comment section. But now go ahead and moving on. Now we got to talk about Jayden Daniels, another reason why he should definitely start week 1. He should not sit behind Marcus Mariota week 1 or any weeks after that. Running back Austin Ekeler compared Jayden Daniels to Phillip Rivers and Justin Herbert. Let's dive into it. And this is pretty recent. Jayden Daniels reportedly has many similarities to Phillip Rivers, according to Austin Ekeler, the new Commanders running back that just came from the Chargers. Ekeler also reportedly sees several similarities between Justin Herbert and Daniels as well. Daniels has already taken his first team reps over Marcus Mariota and Jeff Driscoll and Sam Hartman, if you want to throw that name in there as well. Several scouts reportedly believe Daniels could definitely lead the Commanders to the playoffs as a rookie, to have somewhat of like a CJ Stroud level year. Maybe you can even throw Justin Herbert in there as well. The Commanders rookie quarterback continues to shine in the offseason. So let's dive into the article. Well, let's dive into where this came from. Austin Ekeler was speaking to Keyshawn Johnson on his All Facts No Breaks show on YouTube, and I'm assuming it's a podcast as well. And he talked about Jayden Daniels. He said, quote, he calls me over. Hey, Austin, come over here. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want to hear from my quarterback, unquote, from Austin Ekeler. Continuing the quote, it really depends on the personality of the guy you're bringing in, on how much help they need. And for us, we got a lot of veterans around them. We brought in a veteran center from Dallas. We've got we got Zach Ertz. We've got guys around him that know what they're doing. And that, I just want to take a break from that quote and point out the fact that that was definitely a strategic move by Adam Peters and company, Dan Quinn and those guys, to surround him with as many veterans as possible. You have the safety blanket in the pass catching running back in Austin Eckler, in the super nuanced veteran Zach Ertz, and your tight end safety blanket there as well. And then your starting center, just in case if you need help with protections, if you need help as far as IDing potential blitzes and things like that, that's the guy that can handle that until Jayden Daniels is ready. Even though I think Jayden Daniels will be ready to handle a lot of those things week one. But in this crazy too, because Carson Wentz, even to the point that he was here in Washington, was not good at a lot of the pre-snap stuff like that, like changing protections and things like that. But Jayden Daniels has already shown signs. Cliff Kingsbury's already said that he's far ahead in that, way further ahead in that than he expected. But just in case, Adam Peters made sure he brought in a lot of veterans to put around Jayden Daniels just in case. He may not necessarily need them, but he's gonna love having them. But continuing on with the quote, so it's like we're in a situation where you have veterans around this young guy. We are putting them in a position where, hey, you can immerse yourself into this position, leadership role, as much as you want, unquote. Basically, Austin Eckler is saying, do as much as you want to, take over as much as you want to, be the amount of leader that you want to. Maybe you can start off with a little bit of leadership, or you can completely take over. It's your call. We have the veterans here to back you up, no matter what stage you are in your development as a quarterback, on the field, off the field, all of that type of stuff. But it sounds like Austin Eckler is saying that it seems like, if anything, Jayden Daniels is ready to take everything on as if he's not a rookie, and them being veterans helps, but he doesn't need them again. And so basically, so far, Daniels' personality appears to be one that loves to play football and has fun doing it, even in practice, and has demonstrated a great command of the offense and the team early in the process. Eckler shared an example of that command with Johnson. Quote, literally even yesterday coming off of the field, I was running a man beater choice route out of the backfield, and we both saw it kind of like in a different way. He calls me over, hey Austin, come over here. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want to hear from the quarterback. That's the quote we mentioned earlier. I remember being with former Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers, and I remember being with current Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert after he got going a few years, where it's like we had that conversation. For him to be doing that already in week 3 of the offseason, that's what I want to see from you as a quarterback. That's why, yes, you need to be a leader. You can't be scared to go talk to us, unquote. So basically, we can't speak on the field wise exactly yet, but off the field wise, he's showing a lot. Basically, he's saying that he's even further ahead than Justin Herbert was as a rookie at this point. It took Justin Herbert a little while to really step into that leadership role. Jayden Daniels is already there, to where he's talking to the veterans like, hey, come talk to me. It's not the veterans having to pull him to the side. He's pulling them to the side and talking things through and stuff like that. And he's comparing them to where Phillip Rivers was towards the end of his career when Austin Eckler was there as well. He's basically saying that maturity wise, leadership wise, a lot of the off the field things wise, Jayden Daniels is already far beyond his years right now, and I love that. And again, before we move on, I just want to point out the fact that Austin Eckler is a guy that played with Phillip Rivers and played with Justin Herbert and is now here with Jayden Daniels. So that if anybody can compare Jayden Daniels to Justin Herbert or Phillip Rivers, at least off the field wise, it's a guy that's had a connection and experiences and time spent with all of those quarterbacks. And when Austin Eckler says that he reminds him of those guys, I believe him. Now moving on to the next part, everything else is pretty great in this video, but now we got to talk about how Terry McLaurin is still underrated. So according to Pro Football Focus, Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin was ranked as the 18th best wide receiver heading into the 2024 season. I can't wait for him to prove everybody wrong. I think it's more so just been a quarterback thing and an offensive coordinator and just the offense around Terry McLaurin more so than it's been his fault. But their explanation for it, like the paragraph they gave, the quick couple of sentences, Pro Football Focus said the Sam Howell experiment didn't go well last season, but Washington will be hoping rookie Jayden Daniels can become the answer at quarterback, giving Terry McLaurin the quarterback he has deserved for his entire career so far. Completely agree. He caught 50% of his contested targets last season and only had 4 drops all year. And remember, Peyton Manning said like a few weeks ago that he plans on drafting Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin in his fantasy league. So he's very high on the duo right there. Very high on not only just Jayden Daniels, but also Terry McLaurin. Pro Football Focus doesn't seem as high, but of course you're going to have some people out there thinking that 18 is even too high for Terry McLaurin. I, of course, think it's too low. But now also, when we're talking about just the overall wide receiver core, Pro Football Focus, the same people that had Terry McLaurin ranked 18th, they ranked wide receiver cores around the NFL recently, as of June 20th. And they ranked us 20th. They had the Eagles 3rd, Cowboys 15th, but at least we were ahead of the Giants, who were 28th. But they still have us 20th in the NFL right now. Their explanation: inexperience and new faces keep the Commanders from ranking higher, but they appear to be building a strong offense. Terry McLaurin is a stud. Jahan Dotson can be a solid wide receiver 3, and rookie Luke McCaffrey is a unique big slot receiver. Add Zach Ertz and Ben Sinnott from the tight end room, and now Austin Eckler out of the backfield, and this is a sneakily fun receiving core. Really interesting. It sounds like, from the way that they talked about us, we will be ranked higher than 20, but it is what it is. Again, with a lot of people doubting us and underrating us in several categories, like with certain players, certain position groups and things like that, or just the overall team, I feel like it's more so of a situation like, we just can show you better than we can tell you. We can complain all we want about, nah, this player should be ranked higher. There's no way Terry McLaurin is only the 18th ranked wide receiver. He should at least be top 15 and things like that. It's no point in really even getting upset about it or talking about it crazy, because we just got to go out there and prove to everybody that they were wrong. If anything, maybe you can hold these articles and these videos that people are putting out about the Commanders and basically hating on us and underrating us, you can keep them as receipts for later on, but there's really no point in getting angry at these people right now, because I mean, we just won 4 games last year, and we have the biggest just organizational turnover, I think, in NFL history. Like, as far as front office, coaching staff, players, everything, nobody has had this much change other than like an expansion team that's literally coming in as a whole entirely new team to the NFL. You can't be any newer than what we did outside of being an expansion team. So there's a reason that a lot of people are not ready to jump the gun and go ahead and, if anything, overrating us. Everybody's going to play it safe and underrate us in every way possible. We're just going to have to go out there and prove everybody wrong. You can keep the receipts, but there's a good reason as to why people are kind of downplaying us a little bit right now. And I feel like the Terry McLaurin thing is more so, he's ranked 18th not because of who he is, but more so, is Jayden Daniels going to be great out the gate to where Terry McLaurin can look like and perform and produce and put numbers up like a top 15, top 10 receiver, like a lot of us believe he is? Or is even going further back, is the offensive line going to be good enough to allow Jayden Daniels, to allow Terry McLaurin to be productive enough to look like a top 15, top 10 receiver? So I feel like a lot of the doubts even just come from worrying about the offensive line, worrying about coaching changes. What are the offense going to look like under a new offensive coordinator? What are we doing at edge rusher? What are we doing at outside corner and things like that? We'll see. But again, we just got to show them better than we can tell them. We just got to go out there week 1 in Tampa Bay, win a lot of games that people don't expect us to win, and make it to the playoffs. He has like a CJ Stroud level year, and then everybody will be like, my bad. And that's all it is to it. And remember, we talked a few days ago about how the Commanders were the 7th fastest wide receiver core in the NFL as well, just to add to the whole discussion of our wide receiver core where we're ranked. We may be 20th overall in like pure talent and production from a Pro Football Focus projection standpoint, but when it comes to fastest receiver cores, we're the 7th. That doesn't necessarily mean we're the 7th best receiver core, but at least we're the 7th fastest. And with a guy like Terry McLaurin that throws fade routes as well as anybody I've ever seen at the college level, I think that could be a huge advantage for us. Not every quarterback would necessarily love and dream about having one of the fastest wide receiver cores in the NFL. Jayden Daniels would, with the elite deep ball that he has. So I think that's going to be a huge strength to him, which also proves that we should probably be higher than 20. But again, we got to go out there and prove it. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I'm still working on these film sessions. I'm really about to start getting those out to y'all. I really want to get a live show scheduled. It's probably going to be on Saturday, so stay tuned for those updates. I do want to get something going where even if it's not weekly, it's like bi-weekly, just to kind of check up on everything that's happened, especially once we get to the training camp and we can start doing call-in shows where y'all call in and give your opinions about stuff. So just stay tuned for all of the content and potential ideas that I have going on, and I just really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all do not leave this video without leaving a like. I appreciate everybody leaving likes, leaving comments on everything. Again, I'm gonna try my best to sit down and find some time to read and reply to as many comments as I can, going back even several videos from days and weeks ago. I'm gonna try my best, so make sure I stay tuned. I really appreciate y'all. Of course, let me know how you feel about the whole Jayden Daniels should not start over Marcus Mariota week 1 situation. How you feel about Austin Eckler comparing Jayden Daniels to Phillip Rivers and Justin Herbert, and how you feel about Terry McLaurin and this overall just wide receiver group being underrated still to this point. Let me know how you feel about all of that. I'm gonna try my best to read and reply to everything. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.